Welcome to the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast, your home for all things football at Waldorf University, the best small college football experience in America. Hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson, from the secret gridiron bunker beneath Volsdorf Field. Now, let's meet the captains of today's podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome to this edition of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. Troy, it's going to be an exciting one because we just finished up with the spring game, and we needed to talk about it. So we brought in...
We got coaches present.
Arguably the experts.
We got coaches present, and then we got coaches sort of present that are outside of the bunker.
Yeah, they're out of the bunker.
They're playing games.
Reindeer games, if you will.
That's what they are.
Yeah, shenanigans, plenty.
We've just spent a good amount of time.
Yes.
We've been making meat patties.
Yeah.
And that's because this be Friday, and so then on Sunday we're going to host our annual cookout for the team behind the DJAC 6 o'clock on Sunday night. And so local, if you're stop by and see the players and maybe grab a burger if they've got any left and all that other stuff. It's going to be a good time. We've been doing it we did it last year. I don't know. We were doing it before that.
Oh, probably. But bring your checkbooks and your appetite and come on out to the Denny Jerome Athletic Center.
You don't even have to bring your checkbook. You can just log in on this program right here and support the program, and that goes straight to it too. There's lots of ways to raise money. So
I got to
we've been handling meat for the last couple of hours.
Oh, yeah.
And all the coaches out here in the Uber bunker and doing all this good stuff, and now here we're finally getting to a point where we're confident enough to have a conversation about
football with Waldorf University Warrior football. So we brought in a couple SMEs. That's a TLA.
Mm-hmm.
SME is subject matter expert. And you know what a TLA is, don't you?
No, sir.
It's a 3-letter acronym. So anyway, we brought in our head coach, Chase Paramore, and our defensive coordinator, Tyler Chapa, to visit with us. Guys, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us on.
I'm lucky to be here.
You are.
You look
because Ani's like looking in the window and he really wants to be.
We got all the boys back
I don't understand why I'm not in there.
Oh, yeah. Ani's real social.
Yeah.
Well,
Coach G would want to be.
Yeah,
in there.
he's down fixing.
Well, and if Coach Ani gets more than 6 feet away from Coach Paramore, he just he gets a little anxiety, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's about right.
Is that door locked? Is that door locked?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Just making sure our head man is.
Are you
taken
okay,
care of.
Chase?
Coach, everything good in here? Do you want me to get this guy out here?
That glass is soundproof.
Hey, if anybody you want on your side, it's Ethan on.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
Yep, exactly.
Did notice that the burgers he was making was just a little bit bigger than everybody else's. The guy's a big guy, so I was like, let's make 6 burgers out of these 2-pound
big hands
things.
He labeled his O-line.
Yeah, O-line.
You know which ones to give to the
Sure. That's obvious when you put them on the grill. They're like, oh my God, these cooked down, but this is still much bigger.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we just finished up. Last Friday was our spring game. We had to switch some things around, but we had a great crowd. Looked like Waldorf of old during home games for our spring game. And so what's some of your takeaways, guys? Coach Paramore, what is some of the things you see that you like and some of the things that you think that our Warriors need to continue to work on?
Well, I was thrilled with the weather. Let me say that.
Wow, 80 degrees.
Wow. I mean, just unbelievable.
It's Iowa.
It was a really, really good day. I thought it was competitive. It was back and forth, which is how spring has been for us. I thought the entire spring was very competitive. We had a lot of, younger guys on defense that really have had the opportunity to come into their own and get more reps than what they had in the fall. So we had a lot of bright spots, offensively and defensively. Mm-hmm. But, I would say, defensively, just to point out a few, a Keangelo Robinson, who is a freshman who redshirted for us, who is a junior college guy coming in. Fletcher Postlethwaite had another really good spring. We had George Perez. Joe Perez moved over from receiver to corner. Another really bright spot for us at corner. He did a really nice job. So just overall, I mean, I was thrilled with how our defensive guys, the youth that we have in defense, And then even the returners and the new guys, like they came in and really did a really nice job, and credit to Coach Chapa, installed a lot, and the kids really took to it and did a really nice job executing. Offensively, we had a new quarterback come in this January, Nick Siegel from West Hills in Coalinga, California, and he did a really nice job executing. We had a great spring. I thought he distributed the ball well, and for the most part, offensively clicked along. It was really, really nice to have Dom Watt and Navi Hill back on the field.
Yes, it was. Spectacular
players, and I think we've done some special things from a standpoint of what we've done academically. And when I first got the job, we talked about holding a standard and there being a warrior way. And I believe that the kids have bought into that. Our grades have reflected that. Our staff and just the overall accountability that we have brought to this off season, I think has paid dividends in what we will have as far as something to build on from this spring, because I think we'll have more kids returning and more kids eligible than we've had in the past. And that's always been kind of the issue, in my opinion. Now, I'm still fairly new to Waldorf, and I think that if you look at us as a program, we're constantly bringing in pieces, like a Siani Malisi or, a junior college kid at the end of the summer, but we're bringing those kids in to replace a player that maybe we know has, had some great issues and won't be eligible. And what we're trying to do from a program standpoint is bring in a kid like Siani Malisi or a Marquise Alexander, but also have a Thomas Edwards or a Navi Hill back and returning for us, who was extremely important pieces of the program. And I think we're at a point in place where if we continue to retain our players from year to year and we continue to have our good players do the right thing off the field, that we'll continue to put ourselves in pretty good position.
Yeah, very well said. It was fun to see those kids progress over the spring. We had some new faces out there. We got some guys that are still healing up from some injuries, and notably Logan Miller and Jordan Cooper out there. Logan Tyler as well, one of our O linemen. Those guys are still out there at practice every day, but they're putting in the work. So, Coach Chapa, how's that new defense looking, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, credit to our guys. I thought they did a phenomenal job buying into what we're doing, because essentially we're doing two different things on defense. I'm not going to give away our secrets, but they did a great job of buying into Coach Nally, who's brand new, right? We got him this spring from Murray State, working with our D-line. He's done a phenomenal job. We're all pretty young, so we can relate to our guys, and that's the first thing that we talk about as an entire staff is we want to love our guys hard and then coach them harder.
Right.
And so I think defense. I'll speak defensively. We did a great job of that. Coach talked about some of the young D linemen that had really good springs for us. Linebacker wise, we got some depth there, which is really, really good. I don't believe that anybody needs to play 80 snaps a game, so being able to have some 2s and 2.5s or 3s that can come in and,
right.
You're not going to be afraid to give up any touchdowns. And then we moved some receivers. Michael Bradley was a running back for us that played corner. And then Joe Perez with, having Will Strickland and Case and Handle back there kind of controlling everything. I wouldn't be able to do anything that I was trying to do.
You told me last week that
without
they're good
on
at
the
football.
But they're good people too, and they can lead. And Coach Paramore, I appreciate him because he kind of just let us do what we, had a vision of doing. Yeah. And there were some things that he guided us along the way to critique and things like that. But really proud of our guys. We just finished up exit meetings. So I met with everybody on the defense. And
good.
So the morale's high. And, we're going to bring in some pieces to keep competing. You don't ever want to have your starter think he's the best person ever. So we're going to bring in some guys. But, overall, I was very pleased with everybody.
Sounds like from what we've talked about so far this season for the podcast with different players and coaches, but particularly the players seem to indicate that there is through spring ball an established or evident offense and defense parity. It looks like, in times past, you might have one side might be just a little bit stronger than the other. And now here we're talking about a situation where the defense is causing problems for the offense. The offense is doing some things that now that they've got the second year sort of under the playbook, they're doing some things that are causing trouble with the defense, and that is nothing but good. Is that true? Is that what's happening?
I absolutely think it's been really nice to see just from a competitive standpoint. And, like I said, there was a whole host of guys that really stepped up to the plate this spring. And, that's just a credit to our defensive staff as a whole, putting our players in good positions to make plays. But, you think about Dalton Spencer, Keelan Jackson, another piece that's, didn't play last year, was on the roster, and Xavier Warner. Xavier Warner's a phenomenal player.
Mm-hmm.
I look to have, him do some really, really big things this fall. So,
and I've got also at linebacker who's you think of him, well, in my mind, he's an upperclassman, but Keegan Handel, grew up with obviously
Casey. Be a sophomore.
He's only going to be a sophomore, and he's got high football IQ. And
you're right.
When I had my exit meeting with him, I don't care how young you are, how old you are, he can be a leader in the linebacker room. He was paired up with Dalton Spencer, who's a transfer this spring, and just watching those two kind of mesh together. They're both from Texas. They're fast, they're instinctual, but then their backups, there's not a huge drop off there either.
No.
So, and that's what you want. So, but to speak to the competition, there are some days where, we look on film and these guys over here are just clicking. Nick's spinning the ball, Dom's catching everything. We can't tackle Navi. Cade Kloster-Hodak is blocking his butt off. And then there's some other days where our defensive line's getting after it. Our corners are locking things down. Will and Kaysen are clicking. So it was good to, kind of go through some adversity together. Obviously, my first time calling plays full time out there for those guys. It was really good to see that.
Well, isn't really that, you talk about a lot of these guys that didn't see a lot of time last year, or they might be transfers in, or guys that, they're coming back for us, particularly Dom and Navi. But some of the things that you saw, isn't that what spring ball is all about? It's the chance for these kids to really show out, because it's not, all right, ones versus twos or anything like that. It's, we're all going to get out there. We're all going to take some reps, because I want to see what you can do in that game situation.
Right. And, last year we had, Zach Throne was kind of our grandpa of the team. Well, now we've got Austin Erdman on the defensive side, who he's the grandpa of the team, and he's been with us for, a couple seasons now, and I had a huge part in recruiting him. And we know what he can do, but it was huge for him to be able to teach some of the younger guys that didn't get so many reps, especially at the defensive line. It was huge for us to be able to feel like we reloaded with that position with the guys that we already had.
Right. Well, and I saw Nico Page during the spring game. He's kind of all over the place, which is exciting to see, because Nico can be an edge guy. He's lining up in the middle, and really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do, because, he's got a great attitude. Nico is just Mr. Smiles.
He came in at like 250. He's 275 pounds now. He worked his butt off. Whew. And a huge credit to Coach Paramore and Coach Gould for our weight room this past spring. We're lifting 4 days a week, and I think our guys, maybe in the past we haven't seen transformations in their bodies. Nico Page gained like 20 pounds of good solid muscle. So
yeah, he's going to be a force.
Yeah,
this season.
Versatile, very versatile.
Yep, going to make some noise for the Warriors, and looking forward to seeing that. So we're wrapping up the semester. We have about 2 weeks left. The 29th, some of the guys that wore the purple are going to be walking across the stage and getting that diploma, and I can't wait to be there and see that for them. But is there any trepidation from you guys over the next couple of weeks where there might be somebody on the bubble? I know you get grade reports from the academic side, but is that something that I know that you're continuing to pound into these guys. Look, academics are the reason that you're here. Yes, we're playing football, but at the end of the day, for us, we want you to graduate. So is a whole lot changed, even though the spring games already happened? Is there still workouts? Is there still study tables and all that other stuff going on?
Well, for me and what we've tried to do from a staff wise and for a program wise is we want to always continue to facilitate structure within the program, even if we're not on the field. So, for instance, this week has been a very study hall heavy week. So we've had study hall every single day for an hour and a half. And that just boils down to, they're still on football scholarship. They're still members of our team, even if we're not on the practice field. So our practice time this week has been filled with study hall because, again, we just want to facilitate an environment where we put our guys in the best possible situation to be successful on and off the field. And, so far this week we've had, 3 really good study halls, and we'll continue to do that the next 2 days and even into Saturday, with some more study tables. So, it's all about putting our guys in the best position possible to be successful academically and to end up on the field this fall. So we've continued to meet with our guys daily, guys that are on the bubble that we've talked about in the past that maybe we've struggled to kind of close the deal with. There's always those few guys at the end of the semester that, the semester gets long and, it seems like that, the last 2 to 3 weeks can be a struggle. And, even for me and Chop, the last 2 or 3 weeks of a semester is never fun. So it's all about, being able to follow through and understanding it, hey, the process does not end, and like our attitude and effort and everything we preach on the practice field, like we've got to continue to follow through with these next 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And so far we've seen that. And, those guys that are on the bubble, I think we've done a very good job as a staff facilitating an environment where they have an opportunity to be successful. Now, obviously we can't take the test for them, but, I think they got a good opportunity to come through for us. And we certainly hope they do. And hopefully we'll be in a really good position this fall if they do come through. But, the best thing we can do is put them in a position to be successful.
There's, I think it mentioned that, was that a track meet? So it's track season. So here in Iowa, that's what you do when you got high school kids. But I'm standing next to the local coach, and he's watching his seniors on the infield of the track talk to his runners as they go by whatever particular race they're in. And he says to me, he's like, "See, this is what's great. Like, I don't have to be on the field. Like, they can do. They're coaching their peers up. Those senior leaders are out there and they're coaching up. They're underclassmen." And he said, "That's great." And I think, I look at your program. We've met a lot of your senior and, your upperclassmen leaders. And I just want you to talk about that if you get a moment it's like, what kind of coaching are you seeing in spring ball? What kind of coaching are you seeing up to this point prior to spring ball when you're, correcting some things and you're changing some schedules? Coach P, you bring in some different dynamics and all of those things. Talk about the leadership talk about the leadership from your players as they negotiate the change in coaching and the change in just maybe some schedule stuff, priorities, and all that.
Yeah, I think I'll speak just defensively and in the secondary especially. So this was a unique year for us. We brought over Christian Giroux, who's never played defensive back in college before. He was a running back for us. We brought in Austin New, who's a true freshman safety from Little Falls, Minnesota, who, injured himself in baseball last year. So, and then we had Joe Perez, who was a receiver, and then we had Michael Bradley, who was a running back. So we had multiple guys in the secondary that had never played. They had never practiced in the secondary before in a college. And so being able to see Will Strickland and Cason Handel teach them what I'm teaching the entire group on the field, that's really special. That's really, really special. And, and to help bridge the gap, I brought him up already, but Austin Erdman, right? Now Coach G was our D-line coach last year, moved him to linebackers. And so for us to have an anchor down there and an older guy in Austin to kind of help the guys. And not just like with the playbook, but how do we practice? What is the culture of our defense? What are we trying to build here? And then a young guy who helped us out a lot was Keegan at the linebacker position. He played a lot of games for us as a true freshman. And, he, in a way, I think helped Dalton a little bit, who's older than him, but helped him learn the playbook a little bit. But, I mean, and I said it already, but we would not have been able to do half the things that we tried to do on defense if I didn't have Case and Handel and Will Strickland. So being able to see them coach up some guys who never played college defensive back before is truly, truly special for us.
Well, then you got those guys that, and they're trying to, particularly on the defensive side, Will and Kaysen, where you could see it during the spring game where they're shifting guys around. No, out, and they're yelling the whole time. A lot of talk, on both sides of the ball. But and it's they're trying to coach up who's going to be who's the next man in. Yeah. Because when they hang up the jerseys and walk across that stage, there's got to be somebody on both sides of the ball to be able to step up and lead the team on the field. To be that coach on the field rather than, just getting directed from the sidelines.
Yeah, and this was my first time. The spring game was my first time up in the press box. I've never been up in the press box in a game-like situation, scrimmage, game, whatever. I've never been up in the press box, and so a big part of that was obviously I want to see the whole picture. I want to see what the offense is trying to line up to. I want to see if they're motion, all that kind of stuff, but I can't. You got to have people down there that you can trust. And, we'll have an extra headset down there to, hey, I'll tell Coach G, hey, put Kaysen on the headset or whatever. So I'm not 100% sure I'll be in the box because there's some times where I'm trying to, I can just see if we're misaligned or something and I can't do anything about it.
Right.
But it was really good for me because I could trust Coach G to kind of make any kind of coverage checks. He could yell it out to him, but then – in a game, we'll be able to come off the field, go to the bench. In the spring game, it's just constantly boom,
right.
boom, boom, boom.
Right.
So, I'm pretty confident that I got guys down there that I can trust.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. It makes me think of what you said, Andy, but then just about replacing yourself. I mean, that is the name of the game. You spend a good number of months in your year recruiting new players. And there's always that high level of competition, and then it's such a weird place for a young man to be, where you work so hard to get to a spot, and then we expect you to also then recognize your role in that spot, and then coach, sort of, peer coach up. Yeah, your replacement.
Yeah, I know.
And that is very military. Like that is like, look, okay, you're dead now. Who's in charge?
Yep.
And of course you practice that all the time so that you're always ready. And that is the name of the game. So I'm glad to see that is, what's happening. Obviously, the more of that you've got, the more interchangeable players become, and the more supportive they are of each other. I mean, the harder it is for you guys to lose.
You guys look out for Austin New this next season. I'm telling you right now, when we have 3 high safeties or whatever, but he is a true McCoy Yakel-esque. He's fast, he's tall, he's got great ball skills, can run numbers to numbers. Christian Giroux's more like a Kaysen. He's stocky. He'll hit you right in the mouth. He doesn't care who you are. So those are two guys, especially at the safety, because I demand a lot of the safeties. I need them to know the entire defense. I mean, you'll see Will Strickland sometimes down on the D-line instructing them on what they're doing. So that's how deep it is with those guys. But those are two guys that I'm super proud of that stepped up huge for us this spring.
That's very good. Mm-hmm. So, Coach Paramore, offensive side of the ball, who are some of the people, the keys that you have back, and some of those guys that are really starting to shine offensively? Well,
just from a leadership standpoint, defensively, you have the Will Stricklands and Kaysen Handels of the world. But I think, as a coach, some of the most rewarding aspects of coaching is seeing the progression of a student athlete over the 4 years as a person. And, for us offensively, we saw some personality changes and growth in people. And we had some guys that maybe, used to be just more of the guys that made plays on Saturdays, but weren't, those vocal leaders that are really, going to rally a locker room. And some of those guys really became leaders for us, showed a lot of maturity, which was really nice to see, a Dom Watts always been somebody that when called upon on Saturdays at Bolstor Field has made a ton of plays, but maybe never had taken on, kind of a leadership role. And the same thing could be said for several of our players. A Malik Adams, for instance, started, kind of taking on more of a leadership role. Did he make a ton of plays last year? Sure, but he'd never been in a position to really lead. And some of the most rewarding things about being a coach is seeing a kid who comes in, maybe doesn't play for a year or two, then all of a sudden comes into his own on the field, but then, take that next step to be somebody who can also bring the rest of, the roster or the rest of the offense along. And then, hopefully eventually be able to even bleed into the defense and be somebody that can lead the entire team. And, we saw a little bit of that offensively, and that was really great to see. As a whole, I think, obviously getting back a Navi, a Dom is great. Malik Adams continued to make great strides. Some early signees that we had, December grads from Minnesota Junior College, had Bright Springs, a Justice Johnson, and an Ian Stammer. Are promising receivers. I'm excited to see what they do. A young offensive tackle from Dallas, Peyton Anderson, who spent a semester at TJAC, somebody we wanted really bad out of high school, chose the JUCO route for a fall. We ended up signing him this December. I think he's going to be a really good player. A Taran Booker, who's somebody that, the you guys probably didn't see, and the fans didn't see. He had an 82-yard touchdown run called back.
He did.
I think it was against Simpson.
Yeah, it was.
Right, and everybody's kind of like, who in the world is this kid? Somebody had a really nice spring. We have a loaded running back room.
Yes, we do.
As a whole,
TJ Booker is also tutoring a couple of our guys in math class right now too.
Yeah,
Good for him.
Between Booker and Navi and Tate Buchanan and John, those. It's like let's think about
pick.
wing T, coach. What do you think?
Right.
Let's run the option, man.
Got a bunch of really special tailbacks, and then you kind of got the Swiss Army knife and Javante Harper.
Oh, geez, yes.
So he does special things. He does special things with the ball in his hand. It's just continuing to keep him grounded and on the same planet as everybody else. But
he likes to be called Vontae.
Yeah, he likes to be called a lot of things.
He'll run through your face though when he does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he's awesome.
Coach Paramore calls him a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But again, a really special athlete, offensive line wise. I was really proud of the growth that I saw in Gavin Johnson, not only as a player but as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's somebody that could emerge as a leader. He's a guy that, last spring came in and really earned a job as a true sophomore.
Yeah.
Played undersized, and you go, well, I don't know what he's going to be able to do, just because of size. Somebody that just battled his ass off the entire fall season, and he's come in another one of those guys, kind of like Nico Page, that's put on another 25 or 30 pounds, and all of a sudden Gavin Johnson's, a 6'3.5", 260-pound tackle that's, very athletic and, is finally able to do some things, and I think he could be a really, really nice player. I'm excited for him, and again, it's because he's continued to put the work in and continue to be a somebody that could do some special things for us. Nolan Froween offensively.
He got huge.
Nolan Froween
He's like
is
240.
Yes.
Dude is monstrous.
I know.
He is an absolute unit. So, Nolan Froween's another guy I kind of expect to take on more of a leadership role. He's one of those guys that does everything right. You never have to worry about Nolan Froween being late to anything, having anything less than an A in a class. But he's somebody that's, starting to take on a more vocal role. So, now we've gotten past the part of developing and having an opportunity to be on the field. Now we're at that next point where, like, okay, we now have the respect of our peers. Can we start impacting our peers? And that's kind of where Nolan Froween's at. So we're extremely excited to see what he can do this fall for us.
Did you know he was a mezzo-soprano in high school? When we interviewed him, I had all his
Was he
information.
really?
No, he was not.
Oh,
No, he was not. I accused him of being his class treasurer for the cadets down
he
there.
probably looked at you like you were crazy.
Oh, he's like, no, that wasn't me.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, but no, like the tight end play. I tell you what, Frowine is a monster.
He's your prototypical tight end.
Oh my
And
gosh,
for us as a defense to have to like go up against him and Gavin. I'll speak to Gavin for a second too, because I was here when he got here. He was what seemed to be 245 pounds. He's always been athletic, but now
soaking wet with nickels in his pocket.
I mean, you saw him getting a little scuffle there at the end with one of our middle linebackers. He's starting to develop a little bit of nasty to him too, which comes with age and confidence and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, him and Nolan are going to be real.
Well, and then that catch of Caden Obley's was amazing. I know Coach Chapa, you didn't like to see that stuff.
No, but I did though, because
that was beautiful.
I recruited him, so I was really happy to see.
I mean, that catch was super athletic, and he stuck with the ball and took a shot. And yeah, I tell you what, we got a lot of good stuff going. Yeah, pretty excited about this season. After what, let's be honest, guys. Every week, anytime I spend time around the team, I get more and more excited. You see the folks coming in, because we had some midseason transfers. You talked about Nick a little bit, and Nick did get a lot of reps. It's because our, starting quarterback is still, he's still going through getting his shoulder, 100%. Sam Christensen, he's right in there slinging the ball all over the place. And there's just a lot of good things going on both sides of our team. And I get more and more excited. I get to go fishing for the next few months, and it's the only respite that I get from getting ready for Waldorf football, and I absolutely cannot wait for the season to kick off.
I've got another up-and-coming guy that played a little bit for us, maybe out of position a little bit, but his name's Jeremiah Smith.
Oh, yeah.
He's about 6'2", 6'3", maybe. I mean, he's another guy that you can see that his body is transformed. And if he listens, and I know his mom listens to this, he looked like he was about 6'2", 150 pounds when he got here.
Yeah.
And now he's 170 pounds on the dot. So, again, Coach Paramore did a great job in our weight training. And he's a guy that I can play him in the slot at nickel. I can play him at corner. I can play him at safety. And
he got some reps last year. I mean,
he could be a very special player.
He played, a little bit of that time where you're winning by a lot and you can put some of your younger guys in, but he played special teams for us.
Yep.
But he's going to be a guy, again, he's going to be a sophomore, but can still kind of be a leader for us because I think some of the guys are going to look up to him.
Yep. Absolutely. It's going to be a fun season, and we're really looking forward to it. Spring ball is always fun to watch. Not all of us could be there, Troy.
I know, I couldn't.
It's track season.
It is track season. And that was the problem.
That's not a problem.
Well, and so the job's not done, guys. I mean, here in a couple weeks, we're gonna graduate some of these kids, and we're gonna send the rest of them home to work out and behave themselves. And I'm sure they're gonna probably hire tutors for all their weak subjects and come back stronger than ever. But your job's not done. No. I mean, summer's not like, hey.
Yeah, we don't just spend every day on the golf course.
Certainly not. So we're hoping to catch a little bit of graduation. Some of our staff will be there. Me and Coach Chapa will fly out next Saturday to go to Los Angeles. We'll be spending a week in the Los Angeles area junior colleges. We'll be trying to hit about 31 of the junior colleges. We've got several guys that we plan on meeting with while we're out there and, continuing to bolster our current roster with some new additions. So it will start next week in junior college. As soon as me and Coach Chapa get back, about the second week of May, we'll be on the road to Iowa high schools just in order to, we want to get a head start from where we have been from a program standpoint on these class of 24 guys. So we're going to hit every Iowa high school that we possibly can.
Yeah.
We got 4 or 5 rental cars already booked up. So we'll be out in Iowa high schools the second week of May, which should be, correlating with, kids having about 2 or 3 weeks left of their school year. So we hope to hit as many Iowa high schools as we can and put us in a really good position to have a nice camp. We have prospect camp in July. So
July 10th, yeah.
July 10th. So we hope to, have a good turnout for that. And
that'll be good. Guard. If you need an offensive guard, Troy's your guy.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got some eligibility left.
I do have a lot of eligibility left, to be honest with you. If you need an old...
Just grow your beard back out.
I'll grow the beard out.
Gnarly.
And then well, you're going to pull again?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're pulling too much.
Get him some water.
I used to love pulling.
Yeah.
Trapping guard. Well, so between now and then once the summer rolls in, besides the camp, what are your players supposed to be doing, and how are you managing that?
So Coach has worked with our strength staff and got them a summer workout plan. It's also got, and in exit meetings, we've also told the guys like, hey, we want you to be at this target weight.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also meal plans in there, what you should be eating, how many times a day you should be eating, kind of like a grocery list type of thing. But I think an important thing is we're gonna get all of our new guys in huddle and start having Zoom meetings with them, and just to try to bridge that gap of, hey, I can tell you a call right now, and in August you're not going to look at me like I'm speaking French or something. You've heard it before, so we're going to try to bridge that gap all throughout the month of July, and but really, our guys have a longer summer break because school got out a little bit earlier this year, so if you got to work or just take some time, hang out with your family, but then we got about a 7-week summer workout program for them that we're sitting home with them.
Great.
Good. And do they stick to that pretty religiously, or can you really tell when they come back in the fall the guys that stuck to it like it was like they were reading the Bible, or the guys that 2 weeks before they report like, ooh, I got to start working out?
Practice number 1, you can always tell who did what over the summer, who did everything, who did nothing. But then you got, and I keep bringing these guys up, but the Handles, right? Their dad is a head football coach, and
Dave will go work them out,
and they will not let them just sit on the couch all day long.
Yep.
So, and I think that's the case with most of our guys. I think we're going to have an older group on defense. And a lot of those guys take ownership in what they're supposed to be doing. And I asked every single one, what are your plans? Do you have a gym you can go work out at? Can you go back to your high school? Can you get on the field? And it was about, 95% of those guys already have plans to go do that. And a lot of them already have their summer jobs ready to go. So, just kind of the responsibility of those guys to be able to get all that stuff done is good.
Well, and when we visited with Liam Stone a few weeks ago, he's down in that area, like LaPorte City, I think, is where he's from. But then him and Luke Byer, they go work out together.
Yep.
They'll drive and do whatever they have to do. So all that stuff is.
And we'll have a couple guys stay. We'll have a couple guys stay. We'll have probably, I think, 8 or 10 guys here all summer long, which is,
I think
they're all.
Is Vontae hanging around?
Vontae,
for a while at least.
Will, Christian, Kaysen, there's a handful of guys that are living off campus that have either internships or jobs in town. So that's good for us to be.
The more kids that we can keep around in the summer, I mean, that's always nice.
It's phenomenal.
It's nice when they can move off campus. They can get those year leases, and then they're here for a while. And then of course, we're blessed to have international corporation with Winnebago Industries, and they always like to have summer help and things like that too. So it's an opportunity for all of those kids that do stick around. Plus, they've got all of the facilities kind of to themselves what that Waldorf has to offer. So if we can keep, my boys, when my boys got into their junior and senior year, I didn't see them much in the summertime because they're living where they were at and doing all that. And I think that's good. We need to have more. We need to try to have more of our players stay around for the summer.
For sure.
That'd be great.
All right, guys, before we wrap up, one of the things we wanted to talk about, and we actually ad nauseum had these conversations while we were talking gridiron stuff, but for the gridiron listeners out there, the folks that tune in every week, what are some of the things that we're hoping that some of our donations can go to this year? Some of the wish list from the coach's point of view. I know that we talk a little bit about that from Troy and I's point of view, but what are some of the kind of those urgent needs from the program?
Well, I'll just say for what the program that we're trying to build is uniformity in all aspects. So, your donations immediately can be seen in newer workout gear, in more options for our kids just to wear on a daily basis, whether it's a t-shirt, a quarter zip, or some shorts, or a pair of sweatpants or a travel suit. Your donations go directly to our football players and to bettering their experience as a Waldorf student athlete. And I can assure you of that. So, just on the face, we just want to continue to equip our kids with the best gear possible. And, some of our Waldorf Gridiron Club money has helped us buy, new shoulder pads and new helmets. Some of it, for instance, this off season has gone to allowing us to buy new workout gear for our players. And then, if we talk about, more major donations and where we would like to get to, obviously we would love to continue to renovate our locker room area and our locker room space. And we would continue to love to build our stadium facilities, to a point that are a little bit more competitive, whether it's a new press box or, a new turf field, which is obviously something that Waldorf as a whole needs. But in the short term, I can just assure you that whatever money you give will go to our student athletes and will be something that you can, tangibly and visibly see, because it'll be, something that, your son or whoever or the reason why you're giving to our program, you'll be to, see that because your student athlete that you're supporting will be, sporting a new sweatshirt or a new quarter zip or something, immediately.
Absolutely.
And I'll say this about our Gridiron Club, right? We'll say this as the longest tenure coach.
Yeah, the oldest coach too.
The oldest
right?
coach, yeah. And as a 24-year-old GA years ago, when I first got here, and you look at our facilities and our gear and all that kind of stuff. I mean, to where we're at right now, we've got all the newest helmets. We've got, new shoulder pads. We've got pictures of our guys all over the wall. We've got wall wraps. We've got all kinds of stuff. So where we were at and where we're at now is a huge night and day difference. And that's a huge tribute to the Gridiron Club, you guys, everybody out there who's ever given to us. You talk about the best small college experience in America. I mean, really, yep. Our guys can walk into the DJAC and you feel like you're at somewhere that's not, a small college. Like it's a nice facility. You got pictures of guys that you've played with before and you aspire, to be on that wall with some of those guys. So, sure. Coach talked about gear and stuff and all that stuff's important, but just where we're at now and, it goes a long, long way for these guys.
Well, the experience on Saturday afternoons for the community is something that is special for them as well. The players, there you got 4 or 5 years here, and they have those moments. They get to, do the warrior walk and all of the things that make a Saturday special, the game, the wins, the memories, the friendships, and all of the things that make it so enchanting. But it's also the same thing for the folks that come out. And so, the place to start, we always say, hey, bring your checkbooks and all that other stuff, of course, but come out to the game, make sure that you're there, experience that, and becomes a part of a culture. You've got 5 opportunities usually, 5, 6 at best, to be at a home game, to be at Bolstor Field, to really represent North Iowa, Southern Minnesota in a place that has brought all these people together, and to cheer for the purple and the gold, the black and the purple and the gold,
Yep.
whatever
All
the
of
color
it. All
is that
of it,
day.
baby.
You know, all of that stuff, and that's really special. So I look forward to August. I think that the guys will be coming back right away in the first week of August, isn't it? Or
August 2nd.
so
August 2nd.
Can't wait.
yeah. I mean, like that's lickety split. I mean, we're
Seems
still
like
100
far
degrees
away,
then.
but
No,
Yeah.
no, that's 3 months away.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, I think one of my personal missions, I really, really, really want the Waldorf W with a helmet in the middle of our field.
Yeah.
Big and bold. I would like to see in bold white letters on both sides of the field, somewhere between around the 30, Bolstorff Field printed so that you can read it from either side. And I would love to see purple end zones, Waldorf to the north, Warriors to the south, the purple end zones with white letters. There's no reason for us not to do it. Somebody may have some bureaucratic answer, and I get it, but you're going to have to really justify to me why we should not make this Waldorf's field. This is Bolstorff Field, Dave Bolstorff, an icon at not just for Waldorf football, but for Waldorf University, and the field is aptly named for him. Let's go ahead and let's do it the right way. So if I have to make it my personal mission,
Yeah. I think we
maybe that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
I feel like I just wrote an oral manifesto.
Oh, there.
That was awesome.
And
I
you
love
can't
it.
use things like
love it.
manifesto anymore because the FBI gets involved.
Yeah, they are corrupt.
That's true.
Just so everyone knows.
So anyway,
But that would be important for recruits and families.
Would
and,
be.
I mean, kids from small town Iowa that might have never had that before coming to our field to do the Warrior Walk
Yeah.
with us or come to game day visits or junior days
Yeah.
or whatever. And it's like, man, this is first class. This is legit. So
well, and rightfully so. I understand that we have Forest City on our scoreboard because we share facilities here in Forest City. We're very fortunate. We use the track for our high school and BB track. Ray and Joan Beebe were so very generous in making sure that portion of it happened. But at the end of the day, we need that W in the middle of our field.
I feel like that's an easy thing that we can attain, and we can make that happen.
I'll buy the
it's certainly time.
I'm going to go get the paint. I'm going to go to Menards tomorrow.
Some Menards
They got
paint.
purple, right?
Well, yeah, might have to have it mixed,
Yeah, you
but
gotta match.
what can you do?
It'll be all right.
I think we need to figure out how, if we were to, so it is BB Track and it is Bolstorff Field, but the stadium isn't named, and that's because it's not really a stadium. We've got our, our large bleacher section, our home, the press box, etc. But it'd be cool to do a renovation there, and there's a naming opportunity for a stadium complex.
Yeah, if somebody wants to drop $250,000, we'll name it the the Thompson Bleachers.
Okay,
that has a good ring to it.
I don't think it
That
does.
has a great ring to
I don't think it sounds good. That's but look, I'm with you. I can.
Thompson-
I feel where this
Thompson
I like where
Bleachers, the Woogie press box.
Okay.
Or maybe the other way around.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
grew up in the press box more than
I
you're
am
in the
in-
bleachers.
That's true.
That is
It
true.
would really just be an investment to your own chair.
Really, it is.
You're just upgrading your extra
that's
office
right.
out there.
Oh, what does a guy have to do to get a good microphone?
Yeah,
out here?
dang
How
right.
about some air conditioning? That'd be kind of cool.
Air
Something
conditioning
other
would be
than a
nice.
stool.
Yeah, not dead flies as I look out the window. I have nothing on a game day. Everything's like sticky notes. I tape everything to the window. There's half the things I can't see. But that's all. It all works out.
Get that bar stool out of there.
But if there were a name for the stadium, you know how what do they call the place in what is Cleveland or Cincinnati? They've got the Dog Pound. Cleveland, right? They're the Dog
the
Pound.
Dog
Okay, my point is what would
It's
Waldorf
Jihad
be?
Stadium at Arrowhead.
What would the Warrior be like? What if the Gridiron Club just said, "Well, we'll together, many people created,
And it would have to be
created it,
Gridiron
and then it
Club.
would have to be
Yep,
the Gridiron,
Absolutely.
the Gridiron,
The gridiron.
And
whatever.
you know what? The whole facility. The Gulag. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gridiron.
Look at that. And that would play over before you
Yeah.
announce our names and we run through.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Dude. You guys are like,
I think we got this. All right, folks, we're going to wrap this up.
All right.
Because it's been way too long, and I want to thank Coach Chase Paramore and Coach
He just
Tyler
left.
Chapa.
I think he had to pee.
Well, yeah, that's why we're wrapping it up, because
I could go for another hour.
Yeah, we got to look.
I cannot.
I got a trucker bladder on this. We can go for a long time. That's right.
All right. Well, anyway, folks, I want to thank everybody, especially our guests, Coach Chapa and Coach Paramore, for joining us here today, talking a little bit about Waldorf football and just getting us more and more excited. I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the Waldorf Gridiron Podcast. And yeah, I mean, seriously, get your checkbooks out because we got some big ideas. We have some big needs. We want to turn this program into just the appearance, if nothing else, because we already have a great football program. Let's make it look that way. And that's what we're going to use your dollars for. So for Troy Thompson and Andy Buffington, I want to thank you for listening to this edition of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. And forever and always, go Warriors. You can join the Waldorf Gridiron Club today by sending a check to the Waldorf Gridiron Club, P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa 50436.
Or message us by visiting and like our Facebook page, Waldorf Gridiron Club. Or email us at waldorfgridironclub@gmail.com.
Or it's as easy as clicking on the Support the Show link on your phone. Become a patron of the Gridiron Club by choosing to support the program monthly. $100 is the black membership at $9 a month.
The $250 level is purple at $25 a month.
$500 is the Warrior membership at $45 a month.
The all-conference level is $750 or $65 a month.
$1,000 is the All-American membership at $85 a month.
The champion level is $125 a month, and that's $1,500 a year.
$2,500 is the Hall of Fame membership.
The Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast is hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson. Produced by Sunnyside Farmstead Studios in beautiful rural Forest City, Iowa. The music is by Christian Leo. The Waldorf Gridiron Club is a non-profit 501c3 organization dedicated to football student-athletes of Waldorf University. Our mission is to assist the program in maintaining the best small college football experience in America.
Oh, look who walked back in. Oh, there he is. Wow. Yeah.
You got a P too?
Oh, boy.
You got a P
This
too?
is funny. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, I'm old enough where, I mean, I'm probably leaking.
That was fun. Dude, I could
I'm still recording because that shit.
keep on going, man. Oh, you guys are awesome.